That's weird. It's like focused on the chair and the fire looks off in the distance. That's interesting. I was hoping you guys would enjoy that shot of the fire before I sit down. Alright. Hey everybody, how we doing today? Before we get started in this video, I want to remind everybody that if you are a hardcore member of my membership program, that I will be live streaming for you guys tonight at 8 o'clock, which I do every Monday for my hardcore members. So if you would like to join us, there's 3 membership levels, and the hardcore members get the live stream once a week. So it is a small group of people. We have a great discussion. I have a lot of fun with that, and so I would encourage you all to join us tonight if you would like to do that. Go to my main page on YouTube here. You'll see the join button. Click on that and it'll show you how to join. So that would be Hardcore Preppers if you're interested. Alright, so let us talk about this topic. My number one concern, and I've talked about this quite a bit, people say, what are your top 3 things that you're concerned about? My number one concern is always a grid down situation. When you have transformers in this country that are, antiquated. A lot of the transformers that we have are more than 25 years old. And think about when you first bought your house when it was brand new, and after 25 years, how's that house now? Things break down, things get worse. So there is always a possibility of a grid down situation with the amount of natural disasters that we have on top of it, and all those things. But and obviously being very susceptible to a cyber attack. There's absolutely that possibility, that could happen. An EMP could happen, or a solar flare. I mean, there's many possibilities of why the grid would go down. But what should you be doing to prepare for a long-term grid down situation? Okay, so I got a list of things here, and I'm going to talk about them, and I'm going to say why I'm talking about the different things. Okay, so grid down situation, first and foremost, is going to be lighting. Now, these are not in any particular order, so it's not like the most important down to the least important. They're all important. Okay, so the first one's going to be lighting. You're going to need some way to have lights in a grid down situation. Now, one of the things that I would highly recommend you do, if you have flashlights and batteries and those type of things, that's great, okay, but eventually those batteries are going to wear out. If you can get something where you have a little portable power station, like they have the fold-up solar panels, like a 60-watt kit that you can put out in the sun. They say use it to charge up your cell phones and stuff like that. You could also use it to charge up rechargeable batteries, okay? There are a lot of batteries that can be recharged hundreds and hundreds of times. That's a really good way to do it, all right? So I think that's really important. I definitely highly recommend that, like with the Energizers, they have it, and then there's all these different, rechargeable batteries that you can buy, and you can buy the thing that you plug in to recharge them as well. So that would be one thing that I would highly recommend. Obviously candles, plenty of candles is a good thing as well. Kerosene lanterns, make sure you got plenty of those as well. They're a good thing to have. Now, when you're dealing with candles or you're dealing with an open flame like that, obviously you are more susceptible to having a house fire. So always use a lot of caution. Make sure you're blowing your candles out, when you go to sleep. Generally, what's going to happen, and just kind of like my opinion, once the lights go out, or once it gets dark, I think you're going to see a lot of people are going to be going to bed. They're going to be tired from a long day of doing whatever they're doing, and whoever's staying up to keep watch or whatever that may be, those would be the people. But, you want to have some form of light. I'll tell you, one of my favorite lights is Through Night. They're a fantastic light and rechargeable, which is awesome. And so I love mine, the ones that I have. The other things that I would definitely recommend, highly recommend when it comes to lighting, is D-Light. That is a solar light. So again, you put it out in the sun You flip it over, you let it charge up. It's got its own little solar panel on the back. You can use those things. They're awesome, and they last a really, really long time. And it's a great light source without having to use candles or any open flame, obviously. The last thing with lighting that I would definitely recommend, have you ever seen the lights that they have that you put in your driveway and the sun hits them during the day and charges them up, and then they light up at night, right? That is something also that you could use as a light source. Those things are going to last a good long time. So those would be my lighting recommendations for you. Okay. The next thing, and this is early on in a grid down situation. Okay. Having a certain amount of money on hand and available all the time. You know, singles, fives, tens. You know, making sure you have that small denomination bills that if you were able to get to a store and everything is down, but you got cash, cash is always going to be king, especially early on in an event. Now, as you get farther into an event, then obviously silver and gold are going to be where your values are going to be at down the road. But having a certain amount to start out with, people are still going to be greedy. They're not going to be thinking clearly. You can take advantage of that as a prepper, as an off-gridder, and realize that, okay, we're going to use this cash. We've got loose cash that we've got stashed away. My recommendation, what I have, guys, and I'll tell you what I keep on hand, as far as small bills go. I keep $200 of ones, I keep $200 worth of fives, and I keep $200 worth of tens. Now, obviously, I have 20s and, as well, but the smaller change is important to have, especially because if they said it's 15 bucks, boom, you don't have to worry about change. You got it. Boom, here you go. So really smart to have, good thing to have early on in an event. Obviously, later in an event, might as well use it to start your fire, okay? But early on, it would be a very, very good thing. The next thing that I would say would be food. Make sure you have enough food. I have been an advocate for freeze-dried food for a long time because it is super lightweight, has a very, very long shelf life, and as long as you have water that you can heat up and a way to heat up that water, you're going to be able to have a hot meal with very little work involved. And so I think that is a really good thing. So my niece, I'll give you an example of something. So my niece knows that I'm a prepper, obviously. So what did she get me for Christmas? She got me some Mountain House freeze-dried food. And I'm like, perfect, love it, because now that's more that I have. So that's the perfect Christmas present. Prepping related items are always awesome, but like I said, freeze-dried food is a really good way to go. So I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. I definitely think you should have some canned goods as well, and long-term food storage like your rice and your beans and those type of things. So, but when it comes to all of that, there's a laundry list a mile long of stuff that you should have. Spices, salt, all those type of things. There's a tremendous list when it comes to that. Honey, what you name it, okay? But hopefully you have a minimum of at least 3 months worth of food. If you can acquire more, better. It gives you just that much more of an advantage the more that you have, okay? But what you have to remember, if you have to bug out in a hurry, what are you taking with you? Hopefully you're taking the lightest stuff that you have, which is going to be your freeze-dried food, okay? So that's something to think about. Next thing is going to be fuel. Definitely several ways. We talked about lanterns earlier. Propane, making sure you got propane. Make sure that you have kerosene for your lanterns. Also, you're going to make sure you want to have plenty of wood if you have a wood stove to be able to, because like I'll tell you what, this kicks off a ton of light in nighttime when we got the fire going. It's beautiful to sit out here. I just like to turn all the lights off and just sit out here. It's just beautiful to watch. But it will kick off a tremendous amount of heat, and also it is a wonderful cooking surface as well to be able to cook your food with having the wood stove. So definitely wood. Gas for your generators, making sure that you have enough gas for your generators. Like I said, with the propane is huge as well, especially if you're cooking. You got the 1-pounders, you got your 20-pound tanks, whatever you have that you're utilizing. Really important to have those as well. So I definitely think you should be stocked up on those as well. The next thing, would be water. 1 gallon of water per person per day. That is drinking, washing, and cooking with. Okay, that's the rule of thumb when it comes to water. So make sure that you have plenty of water. Make sure that you have a way to purify water. If you're catching rainwater, you're going to make sure you want to filter it, and then you're going to want to be able to run it through a filtration system like the mini Sawyer, a Catadine, a Berkey, whatever you have. But you want to make sure that that water is good to drink. And so making sure you have plenty of water is hugely important, but also making sure you have ways to be able to clean that water. They have the tablets that you can buy. Those work as well. So I highly recommend that you make sure that you have plenty of that. Depending on what part of the country you're in, if it's not the monsoon season in Arizona, hopefully you have got enough water stored on hand that you're going to be able to use. That would be like the Green Dream Project. Go check out their video. They have videos on what they did for water storage. Really, really smart, good young couple working on living off-grid. And they realize that in Arizona, the only time they're going to get rain, realistically, is the monsoon season. So they prepared for that. They got a tremendous amount of water storage, and they use that water for the rest of the year. So that's a smart thing to do. Next thing would be medical supplies. Definitely need to have a decent amount of medical supplies, especially if you have medical issues. If you know you have issues, you know what your issues are, you have to plan accordingly. All right. For me, I don't take any medication, so I'm very fortunate in that aspect. I know a lot of people do have to take medication, but gauze, bandages, triple antibiotic ointment, the spectrum is huge when it comes to medical supplies. Rubbing alcohol, all those type of things. Really, really smart to have a decent amount of medical supplies, because once again, when SHTF does happen, and if it's a grid down situation where we do not have power, you're going to have what you have, and that's it. I've talked about that a lot. So the more prepared you are for every circumstances that's going to come on down the road, the better your chances of survival long term are going to be. Last but not least, and this one's very important, I think everybody should be working towards some form of this. Communication, okay? Grid goes down, your cell phone's not working. You no longer have that access to the internet to talk with other people. How are you communicating with other people? Walkie-talkies, very limited in range. CB radios, also you're better range, but you're still limited in range. Ham radios, especially if you have the antennas and those type of things, you can really go a long way with a ham radio. You can find out from other operators, ham operators, what is going on in different parts of the country. They will be on there. They will be chattering. My advice to people early on in an event, listen, don't talk. Don't share your situation. Don't share your location. Just listen. Find out what's going on with other people. Pick and choose if you want to help somebody or not help somebody. But the best thing that you can do in that type of situation, turn your comms on. Find out what's going on around different parts of the country. Really, really important, okay? But again, I think it's also important, you're going to want to really try to keep a low profile if you can. So you don't want to give away a lot of information, especially in a major event like that, because there's going to be bad actors by the ton out there. Everybody around you now that you see, that you pass in the streets, that are oblivious to anything, that don't prep, that don't do nothing, they are a potential enemy in an SHTF situation, especially a grid down situation, because they are unprepared. So the more prepared you are, the better your chances of survival are going to be. Their chances of survival, those type of people that do nothing, are not high at all, because it's a steep learning curve. So give yourself every advantage. Be smart, okay? I definitely want to hear your feedback on this topic. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm sure to this list you could add a whole bunch of other stuff. I could as well, but I wanted to kind of focus down on these 7 things, because I think these are really important things. And if you're covering these 7 bases, Obviously, if you wanted to add an eighth one, okay, which I obviously did not mention in this video, you know, a way to protect yourself, protect your property, protect your stuff that you have stored away. So now there's an eighth thing. Guns and ammo, obviously, better make sure, and not just guns and ammo, but compound bow, crossbows, you know, slingshots, all these different type of things. There's different options that you can have to be able to protect yourself. You know, throwing axes, throwing knives, all those type of things could be the difference of life and death in a worst case scenario. So really important that you focus on those are one of the things that probably should have been mentioned early on in this list, but it is very, very important as well, because you have to be able to protect what you have. Because again, there will be people coming to take it, okay? There absolutely will, especially if they get wind that you've got something. There will be people willing to take that chance, so you better be ready for that. Alright guys, I'm going to jump off of here. I do want to hear your feedback on this video. Really quickly, I want to talk about my website, preparedness1.com. We have the Preparedness 1 community there, which is a resource that we set up for you guys to be able to connect with like-minded people. Definitely take advantage of that. It is free to join. You do have to register, but no credit card information is asked. So go in, check out the message boards, try to find somebody in your state or your country like-minded. I know it's difficult to find like-minded people. Secondly, we have the Forefathers, which is the CBD and hemp store. So again, if you go to my website, preparedness1.com, you will see the Forefathers logo. You click on that, it will take you to their website. Once you are over there, if you decide to make a CBD or hemp purchase, when you check out, make sure you use the discount code PrepperNurse1. You'll save yourself 15% on your purchase. CBD products really help with a lot of things. They're a good thing to have in your preps as well for a worst case scenario. Last but not least, we have the Legacy freeze-dried foods. If you go to my website, preparedness1.com, you click on store, it will drop down, you will see Legacy Foods. You click on that, it will take you to the store within the website. What we have available is there, so definitely take advantage of that. 25-year shelf life, GMO free. Gluten options are available for people that need that as well. And also it is vegetarian, and there are beef and chicken options as well. So definitely take advantage of that. Stock up on your freeze-dried food. If you don't like, you know, Legacy and you would rather have Augustin Farms or Mountain House, those would be the other two that are comparable, but Legacy does have the largest portion size of any of the other freeze-dried food companies. So just putting that out there. Alright guys, I am going to jump off. Remember, we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race, so we need to remember that. Some people seem to lose sight of that a lot, so stop letting them divide us. We can accomplish anything that we want if we work together. Also remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day, tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really, really important to tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD. Step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to accomplish, whatever you are trying to do, you can do it. The only person that can stop you from achieving your goals is you. That's it. Set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen. Anybody can do it. Trust me, if I can do what I have done, anybody can do it. Okay? So, I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all later. I'll see those of you that are going to join us tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll see you in that live stream. Alright? Again, it's a members only, hardcore members only live stream. So, anyway, I will see you all later. Have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.